Hi, Father Longlegs here. You know me, Daddy T. Today we're talking about quantum jumping. Don't worry, you don't have to know anything about math or quantum or jumping, I guess. Disclaimer here, if you do actually study this stuff or you're like a snob about it, you might be infuriated by what I'm about to say because I am very much just a dumb little bitch who wakes up to think about the singularity and the sky and time travel and all that, and I want to share my thoughts with you in a way I feel somewhat cohesive. Don't get me wrong, none of this is in a textbook, so proceed with caution, okay? First off, what do I mean when I say quantum jump? Obviously, I'm not talking about physically transporting yourself through time, but what I am saying is making that kind of cosmic shift in your actual personal timeline that will take you to the next level. Okay, don't worry, I'm not about to have you sign up for a pyramid scheme or join a cult. Let's just get right to it, because I know you're like, what? I've come up with a simple game. Okay, in like math and science class, sometimes they call these, I don't know if they're games, they're like theories or whatever. They often, come up with little names, cute names like Schrodinger's cat or Prisoner's Dilemma or Occam's razor. Okay, so here is mine. I made one up. It's called Teresa's Leap. Because it sounds like Teresa Lee. Okay, this is Teresa's Leap. First off, I want you guys to think of the thing that you really, really want right now. And this is not a monkey's paw. I know we did that video about the wish, but just pretend that doesn't exist. We're in a new world. You are now in the world where you are working right now to get what you want. Think about the thing that you want the most in the world, right? If someone were to grant you a wish, you could have that no strings attached, okay? Think about what that is. Hopefully you have something in mind. Time's up. You are at a carnival. You get a free play for this game. There are 3 buttons, and all you have to do is choose one of the 3 to press, and you'll get a prize. The prizes are all different. You don't know what they are. It's like spinning a wheel, okay? It's like one of those Wheel of Fortunes. You might get a great prize, you might not get a great prize. But you're not gonna lose anything, okay? So this is not a trick question. But the buttons come with a little clue. Each button tells you the probability and likelihood of you getting everything you want. Like that thing I told you to think of earlier. Guess what? That's on the table. That's the jackpot. You have a chance of winning that right now, walking home from this carnival with everything you want right now. Okay. Button 1 has a probability of 0.1% chance of getting you everything you want right now. You can walk home with it, have it. It's yours. Button 2 has a 50% chance of getting you 50% of what you want, half of everything you want. You can walk home with it. If you want a perfect family life, maybe you get half of that family now. I don't know, you wanted 5 kids? Oh my God, you get to have 2.5 kids. We don't know if you're gonna get the other 2.5, but you can definitely have the first 2.5. Button number 3. 90% chance of getting you 10% of what you want, okay? So press that button, immediately you can actualize 10% of your entire life's dreams and goals and ambitions right now. Which button do you pick? Button 1, button 2, or button 3? Okay, time's up. Whatever you picked, yay! You got the thing. You got the thing. Whatever it was, you got it, okay? What does that have to do with quantum jumping, Teresa? Okay, I will explain. I asked this on the internet, just very small sample size, but I asked it both on Twitter and Instagram, and then I texted some of my friends, and overwhelmingly, the majority of people picked B. And a lot of them justified it. Everything I want is actually a lot, so I'd be happy with half of it. Second up, people picked C. Number 3, they said, well, 90% chance, it's a pretty high likelihood I'll walk home with some of what I want. Very, very few people, including myself, picked button number 1. That's right, I picked button number 1, and that is because that's the key to quantum jumping, and I will explain why. In this game, what you want is decided by you and you only, okay? That's the catch. It's not like you could win $100,000, you can win $50,000, you can win $10. Because if it was, the desirability of that amount of cash is different for everyone. Like, someone who already has $100,000 might be willing to gamble and risk it all for that 0.1% chance because they don't need it. Someone who really needs $5 is probably going to go with the 90% chance. Okay, so we're not talking money here. All right, whatever you want, you fill in that blank with whatever you want. Here's the key. A lot of people picked 50% chance, and then some other people also picked 90% chance. And a lot of people's justification was, well, if I could have even half of what I want, that's pretty good. If what you want is overshooting what you actually want because you're compensating for the fact that you might not get what you want, this is actually what you want. You have to do the math. You gotta subtract the difference. Split the difference minus the gap, because that is your ego telling you, I don't really want this, but I want to outwardly pretend I want it because I want to save my own feelings by pretending I want it. Does this make sense? Okay, I know it's confusing, but let me make it more specific. Let's say I am the carnival designer, okay? And the way that I calculated the probabilities is I asked 100,000 people to do this game, and all they have to do is press the button with whatever the probabilities you see. And then after 100,000 people play, I calculate the new probability of how many people pressed A, how many people pressed B, and how many people pressed C. Those become the new probability chance. The reason I know this is confusing is because I added the trick of you get everything you want, you get half of what you want, and you get 10% of what you want. And what people do when they play this game is they actually sub in 50% of what I want as what I want. For example, if what I wanted was just to be alive, half of what I want would be to be very, very sick for the rest of my life. Okay, obviously that's like a monkey's paw trick question. But the reality is, if you don't have a very specific vision of what you want, you might be ready to settle for half of it because you actually don't really want that. You're just like overshooting what you want so that you hope you'll fall somewhere in the middle. But if you know exactly what you want, you will not settle for less, because anything less is not what you want. For example, if I wanted to be an astronaut and I got half of what I wanted, which is like teaching space in a classroom, it's just not the same. It's just not. I mean, it might be cool, but what if I told you you have a chance to actually be an astronaut? You would 100% take it. If you 100% want something, the first chance you get to actually try for it, you will. We live in a world where these probabilities exist because of human behavior. The way algorithms do, they calculate all of the patterns that have come before. But when it comes to adaptive neural networks and artificial intelligence and changing systems, the actual algorithm is updating itself as it is running, which means every time you give it an input, for example, if I press button A and I press button A and I keep pressing button A, that changes the way the algorithm views human behavior. The algorithm knows that most human behavior probably predicts that people won't select button A. I can even tell you that. I wrote this game, I put it online, my hypothesis was most people would choose button B. I was right. How did I know that? I don't know, I'm not psychic. I just have a sense of human behavior because I am a human. Everybody in their own life has the chance to always do that one thing that they really want to do, that's really hard, that has a high risk and doesn't necessarily guarantee them what they want. But that little 0.1%, that part of your brain, that's where you learn. That's actually how you quantum jump, because your body and brain actually are like running an algorithm of sorts, using old patterns and old information to get you through life to keep you alive. And that thing that you want, that's actually your voice going, hey, I think I can learn some new information. We can get something new for our toolkit. And it's pushing you to do that. But you don't do it because you're like, it might not work, so you want to stay in a safe zone. In order to quantum jump, you have to get your brain to be in that, your algorithm essentially to be in the part of your brain that is constantly expanding and learning and changing its system towards your goal. That sounds wild, but I'm going to give you a specific example. Let's make this simple. Old school Disney style. I am Aladdin, okay? And I'm in love with Princess Jasmine. And all of the factors point to there's no chance, okay? She's a princess, I'm a street rat. There's no way I can marry Princess Jasmine. And I know this, and the world has told me this, yet I want it. I don't know why I want it. Like, why don't I want to marry very nice Elaine? You know, she's my neighbor, and she's pretty and nice, but she's not a princess. Or the butcher's daughter. I don't know. Why don't I want to marry the butcher's daughter, Rice? Why is her name Rice? I don't know. I'm just trying to think fast. Rice is a pretty name. Why don't I want to marry them? It's not that I don't want to marry them. It's just that I want to marry Jasmine. If that was my dream, I want to marry Princess Jasmine. And I know, like, my percent chance in this world is, like, just for shits and giggles, let's say it's just 1.1%. That's my chance of my one single lifetime of being able to marry Princess Jasmine. Now, all of a sudden, I'm given 3 buttons. And one of them is another chance to marry Princess Jasmine. It's a 0.1% chance, but it's another chance. You know what that means? That moment that I'm alive, I still have only a 0.1% chance, but I have a chance to press a button and have that. I actually just double my chances. It's like getting 2 lottery tickets. Being alive already has that slim chance. And then I get another chance in my life, 1 extra second of pressing a button. I just doubled my chances. Against the rest of the world, I have a way bigger chance of getting this. This is how athletes, musicians, stars, basically anyone who's like in the echelon upper elite think, because they don't start at 0.1%. A lot of them start with talent, but nobody starts at the top. The only way to keep getting there is to keep pushing yourself, writing the narrative as if you are Aladdin and you became the prince and you married Princess Jasmine. The only thing is, this gets really tricky when people aren't also updating their values, okay? So this is where I want you guys to listen very closely, because I'm not encouraging you all to just like behead Jafar and marry Princess Jasmine. You have to be training this body, your algorithm, and your brain to actually be interacting with the world around you in a positive way. So as long as you're updating your values against the values of your community, and there are things you want, you're going to start honing in both your wants so that they're actually something that would make you happy, right? You can't just say, I want the world. Like if you actually got it, you might not be happy. So you're gonna actually start honing in that exact number of like thing or money or love, whatever that would actually make you happy. And then you're gonna say, that's the thing I need. Nothing more, nothing less. You would not take a dime more, you would not take a dime less, because all you need is that. And once you know that, that is so key, because then all you have to do is act like you are in the story where you get that. And if you keep acting like that, your body literally changes its behavior to get there. How does this work as a community? Okay, I'm gonna go back to the example that I used in my first video, Trust Yourself. We are all lambs in a slaughterhouse, okay? And there's a very, very, very small chance that we can escape. But we're all in here. And there's only one wolf outside about to eat us. We all know the chances of being the hero in the story are very, very slim, so none of us act. Yeah, we all know there's a possibility, right? It's not impossible. We've all heard stories of heroes in our lifetimes, on TV, on movies, whatever. Think about anyone who's ever taken a risk, like Rosa Parks standing up. She didn't know she was going to be Rosa Parks, right? There was a risk. And I'm not saying everyone gets treated in the same way as a hero when they stand up for themselves, but I'm saying if an entire community lines up their values and always treats themselves like they can be the one to save their community, all of a sudden, all the lambs in the slaughterhouse, they literally all rescue everyone, which means they all rescue each other, which means the probability of these lambs getting out just increased exponentially. That is a quantum jump. You just shifted the fabric of your reality, the system that you live in, to adapt to a new paradigm. That's literally what quantum jumping is. Like, if you existed in a world where you're like, I don't know how I'm going to get to that impossible thing, and you don't know because you haven't taught your body, you have to constantly be acting like you're willing to take that extra chance, that extra jump. But you have to do it in a way where you actually process the information from the consequences and learn and figure it out. Because only then will your system, your algorithm, actually change. And when we do this as an entire community, imagine an entire community learning that they don't have to fall into line and follow a dictator. There's more of them. All they have to do is make sure they're checking in with their community and really act like I am the one. Not I am the one selfishly, I am the one and everyone around me is also the one. And then you literally take that step. And everyone doing that, boom, that is a quantum leap. I hope this makes sense. I really do want to discuss this. I'm very excited about this new theory because I've been putting it to use and so far, it's been really cool. The one thing I'll say is you have to check in with your values. This is not a blank card to just do whatever you want, live in hedonism, be rude to people. No. This is actually the kind of power that gives you the freedom to be a kind person without feeling embarrassed that people make fun of you. It's the kind of power that gives you the power to actually live to your ideals and create the world around you. But you have to be very honest about what that thing is that you want. And then don't take a dime more and a dime less. Just go for that thing. I guarantee you, you will be able to quantum jump. Thank you.